Throughout time, people across the world told each other tales of how they came to be, of heroes and monsters, romance and tragedy, death and rebirth. Mythology helped shape the ancient world, explaining the unexplainable. This is Mythology Unleashed. Picture, if you will, the streets of London at the very witching hour of night, and not a soul around. You hear a noise echo from behind you. You turn around to discover its source, only to find the street abandoned. Safety is all but confirmed, when out of nowhere, a demonic man, or perhaps a monster, leaps into view with a malicious grin and a bone-chilling laugh. This is Spring-Heeled Jack, a terror of old London with bloodthirsty habits. In the early 19th century, legends sprang up of a killer who stalked the streets of London and Liverpool, England. But with how the being was described in both action and appearance, one may say it was a monster rather than a man. Descriptions of his appearance tend to vary. Many claim that he had a frightful visage, a horribly disfigured face that was partially covered by a metallic helmet or a mask, with eyes like red balls of fire. Others say that he was tall and thin, with the appearance of a gentleman with a devil aspect. Other reported features include a flowing black cloak, a tight-fitting white garment like an oilskin, metal claws on his fingertips, and even the ability to breathe fire, sometimes blue or white in color. But the sole trait found within each tale is his ability to leap astounding heights and bound great distances, jumping clear over walls and hedges and traversing the rooftops with ease. This ability would lead to newspaper headlines granting him the name Spring-Heeled Jack. It was said that Spring-Heeled Jack would silently ambush an unsuspecting victim, most often a lone woman, slash at them, blow fire at them, or even try to kill them, before he would leap out of sight, escaping from authorities. Stories of ghosts and other mysterious figures haunting the streets of London after dark and attacking lone pedestrians were commonplace in the 1800s. As such, when reports of a devil-like figure who leaped from rooftop to rooftop were received, they were regarded as hysterical nonsense. But in January of 1838, this strange creature received official recognition when barmaid Polly Adams was attacked while walking across Blackheath in South London. Further reports include servant girl Mary Stevens, terrified by a ghastly figure she saw on Barnes Common. An anonymous woman assaulted in Clapham churchyard. Lucy Scales, a butcher's daughter, attacked in Limehouse. And Jane Alsop, who was nearly strangled by a cloaked creature in her own home before her family saved her, at which point he leapt and soared off into the darkness. Perhaps there was more meat and bone to this legend than originally thought. Spring-Heeled Jack was last seen in 1904 at Everton in Liverpool, bounding up and down the streets, leaping from cobblestone to rooftop and back. He vanished into the darkness when some brave souls tried to corner him, and he has not been seen since. But the question remains, just who or what was Spring-Heeled Jack? Like all urban legends, a number of theories have arisen to explain the case of Spring-Heeled Jack. Many believe he was a masked madman with a penchant for attacking the vulnerable. His grand cloak and gentlemanly yet devilish aspect made many assume that it was a person of aristocracy. A prime suspect among the populace was the Marquis of Waterford, Henry de la Poer Beresford. The young Irish nobleman already had a history of public scandal, including public drunkenness, smashing windows, paying people to fight him, and accosting people while nude. For his constant antics, exploits, and arrests, the Mad Marquis, as he was called, became a scapegoat for the citizens of London, and the prime suspect for Spring-Heeled Jack. Whether or not the Marquis was responsible, it is not out of the realm of possibility that the victims of Spring-Heeled Jack were really just attacked by human male assailants, but chose to blame a creature rather than someone they could have known. Other possible theories have included copycat assailants, a juvenile delinquent, a wild animal, or even a supernatural reason, a ghost, a devil, a monster, an alien, a demon. By the turn of the 20th century, reports of Spring-Heeled Jack sightings and attacks came to an end. But even if official sightings of Spring-Heeled Jack had stopped, his legend still survives. His exploits have been recounted and further dramatized in works of fiction, such as plays geared towards the upper class, and penny dreadfuls suited for the working class that portray him in a more heroic light. Characters inspired by Spring-Heeled Jack can be found from steampunk novels to mainstream comic books. The conspicuously Victorian air of the gaunt, springing devil continues to evoke the era in which his legend grew, making him a popular template for horror stories. Though the question lingers, was Spring-Heeled Jack a real person whose crimes were blown up to mythical proportions? Or was it truly a monster prowling the streets of London?